and true, but it means that if this other alternative rehabilitation is correct, the is and also to reduce muscle shortening and keep the joints mobile, so as well as circulation, help with the circulation of the incapacitated patient. So it's a very interesting hypothesis, but I think it would fit with the EMS dispatch audit if we actually go back and look at those facts. Someone at his address was found unconscious. They went into cardiac arrest and they needed CPR. It's very, very plausible that they knew when they were loading him into the ambulance vehicle that he may already have been brain dead, and that could be why there wasn't the need to rush him to the hospital. But the fact that he's been here 50 days for rehabilitation, he couldn't even make a videotaped statement for Kentucky and for those participating in Fancy Farm today, like he did back in 2022, is starting to lead me to believe that this rehabilitation might actually be what is called passive therapy, used for severely incapacitated patients.
Interesting. Yeah, let's get to that point real fast, because there's a thing that happened over the weekend called Fancy Farms.
Mitch McConnell's, there's the type of therapy that is administered to someone that's brain dead, passive therapy. Could you explain it to us? If you look at the 911 call and the fact that he was, DNR, they resuscitated him. I mean, work into all reporting on Mitch, and to be the therapy. And when this Scott Denner, whatever the fuck's name is, said he talked to him, maybe it wasn't Mitch talking to him. Maybe it was him talking to Mitch, Mitch is dead. Mitch is dead. We need a Mitch song. Undo. Brain dead. Mitch is brain dead.
Wave of viral speculation surrounding Senator Mitch McConnell's health, particularly following his mid-2026 hospitalization. To break down medical terms like passive therapy mean, how DNR orders work during emergency calls, and what actually happened with Scott Jennings' statements. 1. What is passive therapy in medical terms? The phrase passive therapy is often used loosely online, but medically, it refers to a few distinct concepts depending on the context. Passive is physical therapy, range of motion exercises. In long-term care or ICU settings, physical therapists perform passive movements on comatose, non-responsive, or severely weak patients. They manually move the patient's limbs to prevent muscle atrophy, blood clots, and joint stiffness. It maintains the body, but it is not a treatment to restore brain function. Passive euthanasia/comfort care. In end-of-life care, passive care refers to withholding or withdrawing aggressive life-sustaining interventions like mechanical ventilators or artificial feeding to allow natural death, focusing purely on comfort and pain management. Brain death versus vegetative state. Medically and legally, brain death is the complete, irreversible cessation of all brain activity, including the brainstem. A person who is brain dead cannot having a McConnell discuss complex topics including foreign policy, Iran, Ukraine, and Senate matters and Senate history. The one-sided theory. While online memes joked that Jennings might have just been talking at an unresponsive person, Jennings explicitly refuted theories that McConnell was in a vegetative state, stating that McConnell was actively discussing legislative strategy and holding briefings with his staff. A person who is brain dead or in deep coma lacks the neurological ability to participate in an interactive 20-minute conversation over the phone. Summary. While McConnell's prolonged hospitalization and his team's guardedness led to rampant internet speculation, path therapy is not a cure for brain death, and a brain-dead patient cannot hold policy discussions. The reported phone conversations between McConnell and Senate colleagues directly contradicted the social media rumors of brain death or total incapacity.
Yeah, hey, I accidentally started, share. If anyone's on Discord and you want to join this stream and talk, send me a message on Discord and I'll send you the join stream invite. You just click on it and you can join the stream and talk. So if anyone wants to talk, pop on Discord and we can talk about anything. So, yeah, Mitch, let's continue listening.
I think I knew about it only because of my following of this. And Mitch McConnell did not send video into fancy farms. Now, typically, that's what he's done in the past, but not this time. Sorry, I thought I had the tab up. I don't have the tab. But Mitch McConnell in the past has sent videos into this party called Fancy Farms. He had one as soon as 2022 where he couldn't make it, and he talks via teleprompter and gives a message to the people of Kentucky. That didn't happen this year.
No.
Instead, we just got that statement
Didn't happen
from Mitch McConnell here that I read to you earlier saying that he's not going to be able to make it. So there's obviously something different here where he can't even go on camera to make a statement about his absence. I really do think that this man is incapacitated. I don't think he's aware of what's going on. And I think it's likely that he is a lot.
They're holding out. Explain the August 3rd deadline for appointing someone to replace Mitch McConnell, the new law. Can you break it down where they stripped the governor from his appointment ability? So August 3rd, all of a sudden it's going to come out this week that Mitch is always incapacitated. The whole thing was getting past August 3rd date so that that Mitch's can stay, his team and stuff stays in
Third
office.
Deadline and the changes to Kentucky's Senate vacancy laws involve a mix of state legislative maneuvers, strict calendar rules, and high-stakes math. 1. The August 3rd statutory cutoff. Under Kentucky election law, August 3rd is a critical 9-day statutory threshold relative to the November general election. Vacancy for August 3rd. If a U.S. Senate seat is vacated for this date, state law requires the governor to call a standalone special election to fill the remainder of term as quickly as possible. Vacancy after August 3rd. Because the regular November election is already underway, state statute contemplates that no such special election is held. If a seat becomes vacant after August 3rd, the seat remains completely empty until the winner of the November election takes office in January. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear noted that passing the August 3rd threshold without McConnell vacating a seat means there will be no emergency summer election. In the meantime, McConnell's extended absence keeps Senate Republicans effectively operating with 52 votes instead of 53, which has already impacted tight roll call votes. 2. How the legislature stripped the governor's power. For nearly 80 years, from 1942 until 2021, Kentucky governors, regardless of party, had standard authority to appoint a temporary replacement whenever a U.S. Senate seat became vacant. When Democrat Andy Beshear was elected governor in 2019, the supermajority Republican legislature grew concerned that if Mitch McConnell or Rand Paul stepped down, Beshear would appoint a Democrat to flip the seat. To block this, they altered the law twice. Step 1. The 2021 law, Senate Bill 228. In 2020, 2021, lawmakers passed SB 228 for Bashir's veto. Under this law, the governor could still appoint an interim senator, but only from a list of 3 candidates provided by the state executive committee of the outgoing senator's political party. This forced Bashir to choose a Republican, but it ensured Kentucky kept 2 voting senators in Washington without delay. Step 2. The 2024 overhaul, House Bill 622. In April 2024, shortly after McConnell announced he was stepping down from GOP Senate leadership, lawmakers decided the 2021 rule was still too risky and potentially vulnerable to court challenges. They passed HB 622, once again overriding Governor Bashir's veto. Stripped all appointment power, HB 622 completely repealed the governor's ability to appoint an interim senator under any circumstance. Special election only. The governor's role is downgraded to a purely administrative task, signing a proclamation to call a special election. Mandatory vacancy. Until a special election is held and certified, the seat stays vacant. Kentucky became one of only 4 states, along with Wisconsin, North Dakota, and Rhode Island, where the governor has 0 Senate appointment power. 3. The unresolved legal controversy. While HB 622 is state law, legal scholars point out that it has never been tested in court and sets up a glaring constitutional clash. Kentucky Constitution, Section 152, explicitly states that the governor has the power to fill vacancies in statewide offices by appointment. U.S. Constitution, 17th Amendment, dictates that Senate vacancies must be filled by election, but allows state legislatures to empower the executive to make temporary appointments. Had McConnell vacated his seat prior to the August 3rd cutoff, Bashir likely would have challenged HB 622 court, claiming the legislature overstepped by stripping state
I think that he could still argue that when he went to hospital, and that they have been hiding the fact, and that because of that, he can hold a special election.
Constitutionally, Governor Andy Bashir cannot unilaterally declare a Senate vacancy, retroactively or otherwise, based on allegations of secret incapacitation. Under U.S. constitutional law, a governor has no power to deem a sitting federal senator unfit or declare their seat open. 1. The constitutional barrier, Article 1, Section 5. Under Article 1, Section 5 of the U.S. Constitution, the U.S. Senate is the sole judge of the qualifications, fitness, and seating of its own members. State governors have no say. A state governor cannot declare a federal office vacant due to illness, coma, or incapacitation. How a vacancy occurs. Legally, a U.S. Senate seat becomes vacant under only 3 specific circumstances. 1. Death of senator. 2. Formal resignation submitted in writing by the senator. 3. Expulsion by a 2/3 vote of the U.S. Senate itself. Even if
but he can argue that that law is unconstitutional, right? Couldn't he? The law that they passed to take away his power. It's really bullshit.
Governor Andy Bashir can, and likely will, argue in court the law stripping his appointment power is unconstitutional. Bashir vetoed both the 2021 law, SB 228, and the 2024 law, HB 622, his administration laid out explicit legal grounds for challenging them. Legal scholars and election law experts agree that a major lawsuit would trigger the moment an actual vacancy occurs. The legal arguments break down as follows. 1. The Kentucky Section 150. Bashir's strongest legal weapon is Section 152 of Kentucky Constitution. The text, Section 152, explicitly dictates that vacancy occurs statewide offices for the at large. Governor shall by appointment until an election can take place. Argument. Bashir's legal argues that the Assembly cannot power explicitly granted to the executive branch by the state constitution through ordinary legislative statute, like HB 622. Under state precedent, altering constitution dates requires constitutional amendment passed by voter, not just a legislative vote. 2. U.S. Constitution, 17th Amendment. The federal constitutional debates on how the 17th Amendment interpreted. The The Seventh Amendment states that Senate vacancies, the state executive shall issue a writ of election. The legislature of any state may empower the executive to make temporary appointments. GOP argument. Republican makers argue the word may state,
but he's not living. Now here that video Fancy here.
Oh, Fancy. I'm sorry I can't join you all personally. Fancy Farm is my favorite tradition. But my day job is fighting for Kentuckians here on Capitol Hill. And with Democrats threatening to ice into a recession, I simply be there to vote.
How simple is it to do like that from the middle, and yet can't? Now, that's what brings us to this very awesome update. Thing about Andy Bear, when he ready to, he blows. Is that a good expression? You know what I mean? Blows. And he said, sorry, this fan farm today. He wrote a statement, sorry, fan farm today. Let me get in on Rand Paul apparently said I've been heard by legislator. Rich coming from a guy who's never had a pair of balls, and did, they'd be held in trouble. Wow. You know, Andy coming calls him nice, sensible man. That kind of out of left field. Love it. Love it. He goes on to, I'm told Andy also spoke, you aren't the same for same hometown school, but I don't run to ads. Yeah, Steve's my dad. Trump's his dad.
He's my dad.
Whoa! Funny, Republicans are all, I miss one political but not rare. We're going to know scene for 50 days. Fancy Farms,
50 days.
A great Kentucky church in, and it's all in good fun. I can take what they can do. Andy Bashir, sorry, I was unfamiliar with your game. I had no idea you were capable of that. This is what we need. This is the energy. Right here. This is the energy. God damn it. That's very satisfying. Now, he said this today. He said, I know there are a lot of folks wondering about the significance of August 3rd regarding a potential Senate vacancy. I want everyone to know that this has no legal impact on options should the vacancy. This is worth a reminder, right? There's one vote for the save worth on or to replacement SCOTUS justice. So we're gonna see, I don't know, August 4th or 5th when that election date passes. Mitch McConnell mysteriously, I don't know, maybe, but even if you decide the vacancy and here is gonna be able to nominate a Democrat and fight it, and I look forward to that moment. We're gonna keep this as always do. If you want to follow us, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.
I don't know, but she seems kind of weak. I don't know, he's so weak to me. I don't know. You. Right. Is Trump pan?
We're worried. We're headed is right now. America is so whack that you are a multi-billionaire. Yeah. Probably lower percentage in tax than if you're a school or a firefighter. You have levels of quality that we've never seen. There's some political violence, the collapse in trust. The biggest thing of all that we're facing massive debt. It's now escalated to it that no one can ignore. How do you plays out? I mean, the brink of losing our democracy and run to time something about it.
Secretary Buttigieg made a lot of promises, came into power. Keen to get your perspective on the Iran war.
President explain why we're there. There's a lot of reasons that we're just because he wanted us. And now I can't figure out how to get us. Have lost their life. Prices are high. You're paying more for food, mortgages, because of this war. And so the president will be doing at a big disadvantage because so many relationships with our allies burned.
I am keen to get your perspective on AI ban. Should we implement a wealth? Is there anything you expect about Trump? Also, great, for example, does Netanyahu want in the region? And then, were you the first person in a president candidate to be gay?
Definitely the first who's considered shot. And I finally made peace with this reality that I was well in my because I wanted so bad for it to be
can't
true.
put a can there. It's trash. The can there.
I'd believe we'll get to a day when it's No one cares.
Secretary Pete Buttigieg, I run to be president in 20.
Get out.
Um,
I have a thing there.
this is super interesting. My team give me a report to show me how you that watches show
Right here.
and some have told us this. Well, unsubscribe channel.
Yeah.
You down.
Pete Buttigieg.
Things we've gone through for decades, for 250 years. It's not clear if that'll work out. I think it will. I believe it will. If we have to do. But that means forming, tuning, changing that system. Because the problems in that system help explain all the economic problems that so many Americans with, where you've had enormous economic growth and shocking little upping it into people's pockets. Where you have low inequality, almost in this country. And there's the problems in the politics, the government, democracy, the American to the world, creating democracy. But there's the Trump administration thing this week with not developing news late to legal.
No. Going to the beach. I got the AC on. I got the AC on. Just yourself. You want to walk home? You can get out and walk home.
Humiliation for Trump's DOJ because they have dropped their much hyped case against former Olympian David Hearn, who was charged in connection this damage the Lincoln Memorial electing pool, the issue that Donald Trump chose and bedeviled him over the last several weeks. The DOJ has two filing that
I hope that the Olympian Hearn dude, he fucking they file for damage. I don't know if they can. They can file for damage.
way of information showing that damage was the result of a botched installation, not vandalism as initially presented by the administration. Repeat, a botched installation, not vandalism, which is what the administration had claimed. Think about how bad it and how base claims were. The DOJ has to now up and admit Trump administration millions trying to shift color to Donald. Yet, as you've heard, it remains an algae-ested greenish of and then tried to blame vandal, not just rhetoric or words, which the president of any American is allowed to say things, but by use power of his office, the power to investigate and in jail, which apparently looks now more like cover and action from what was either in effect body work performed by hand-picked contractors of the Trump administration. It's not the biggest legal issue in the world, and we have a more legal issue with our next guest on our story. It is certainly a sign of the times. Mr. Card's a former federal prosecutor. He writes and file. He just wrote for the New York Times. There are so many reasons to reject Todd. Here's another one. Get to that as well. Welcome back.
For having me.
You are obviously very well suited to explain how many have to go wrong with DOJ to bring it like this and then retract the floor.
Sorry, I don't know where to begin. I mean, humiliation doesn't even begin to describe it. The PJ was about, the sort of seeming bungling at this department. In addition to all of that, you and I both have to, the abuses of authority, the objectives of suing, is very rare, I say, someone to write a piece and then the same day, more evidence for the thesis. I mean, this is, I can't begin to tell you things must have gone wrong. Investigate to go wrong, who presents, to get a charge, they should be asking those questions. And then it had been really, there's been a chance that they were going to this case finish line.
This is what our news viewers are in full right.
Brady information to the defense, covered some Brady that they should have already had, didn't have, and at some point this was so bad that they knew that they get exposed at some point during the course of the proceeding. Potentially even some may have had professional repercussions. I mean, this is I agree. It's a small thing, but it's also problematic. It is wrong with the department and the administration. They tried to send the guy to, potentially to serve some time in custody or a fine, whatever, for something the administration it's screwed up. I mean, it's very different.
The small thing, it's a green.
I had to fix it. Sorry, Rob. I'm on my secondary. Phone. Not any better? Or is it still shitty? I'll just end it and reset all my other phone. I was trying to run it on my second phone, but it's kind of shitty. Is any better? Fine. Got my phone tethered. We'll give it a try. If I shut a phone and reset it, maybe the reason that it looked like I it's hanging up. I see it hanging up. Let's be starting. The fuck? Yeah, that seems better. I restarted my phone. I cleared out my memory. I think my memory was hung up. Got to go get Tommy too.
Concern, but it relates to the wider corruption, not, I think, too strong a word, under Todd Blanche.
Reflecting pool is a reflection of already corrupted
to be doing, protecting our elections, stopping cyber criminals, and all those important things. They are actually answering to a president who has all kinds of schemes, like the election wasn't fairly decided, all kinds of schemes, like the big threats to America right now are who were there long before Donald Trump's orange behind his person showed up. Then
He only has
edited
this
himself.
nice Robin
And I got caught on my the reality of it is, if you are willing to give yourself over, if you're willing to risk your career because of this man wants you to lie about in front of a federal judge and bring these cases against individuals who are doing their work as a public servant. Yes. We've seen them come after members of your body. We've seen them come after state officials. We've seen them come after members, exactly. It's just everyday folks. Here's where I have the problem. And this is why I'm still on the fence about whether or not Republicans, like the movie title says, do the right thing. I don't think they're going to do it. You've got Tom Tillis, who put out a statement on Blanche's nomination today via X. Take a look, people. This is what he said. It's a shame his confirmation has hit a snag only because an incompetent personal advisor of the president refuses to amend the bogus settlement. Okay, folks, can I unpack that for everybody real quick? Really? Lay it plain. The only person advising Donald Trump is an incompetent personal advisor to the president who happens to be Donald Trump.
No.
Yeah, because he's the only person he listens to.
Yeah, who is he? I mean, unless do the senators? Is there another person advising the president? We don't know.
Just please name this individual, because we'd like to know
Stephen Miller.
who this person is
Stephen
who
Miller.
is advising the president to do what the president's doing, except for the president. So I mean, this is the part that makes it so hard to believe how this thing advances beyond where it is. In that, the thing goes away and everybody stops and the president gets his way. He's going to get his way here because you have the soft peddling like this. It's a shame his confirmation hit a snag. Well, it's hit a snag because you're holding it up.
For good reason, I would argue.
For good reason.
Well, let's zone in on the standoff. The standoff is because Tillis and Cornyn and their other senators, or might be their moderates on the floor, are saying, wait a minute, this president should not have immunity on his taxes. Just wrote immunity. No other American has.
No, not just his taxes. It's the crypto scheme. You remember what took down the mobster guy? It was taxes. Tax avoidance. Trump is fucking, criminal as fuck. And they're trying to defend. He's trying to fuck. He's scared.
As the president, through this settlement, you get the slush fund.
Great to have you in New York.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Some are saying that she appears to be a sympathizer with some of those radical policy calls, eliminating the Senate, defunding the Department of War, ending all deportations. How do you see it?
Yeah, look, I think there are so many issues where about 2/3 of Americans are in agreement with each other and in agreement with the president. And my focus is on those things, right? 2/3 of Americans disagree with the Trump tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans. 2/3 of this country believe that wages ought to be higher. Even most Republicans think we ought to raise the minimum wage more than we have. Most Americans believe that we ought to have health care for everybody. There's a version of it I've posted. There's lots of different versions of how to do that. That's something most people agree with the other on. Most people are against President Trump's health care cuts, many of which will go into effect next year. I think that cleverly tend to come just after the election. So that to me is the center of gravity of the country. meets center of gravity.
Up, everybody. The next 90 days are going to be weird and wild ride. Iran is going to interfere in our elections for the next 90 days.
Yes.
Russia is going to interfere in our elections for the next 90 days. And Trump is going to try to use that to his advantage. Do you see the poll results he's getting in the past few days?
Yes.
The worst poll rates, not just of his career, but of any president of the modern era. Nothing says or does is working anymore. Donald Trump is drowning in failure. And we are going to pay the price as he tries to keep his head above water.
I'm Joanna Coles. This is the Daily Beast podcast. If it's Monday, it must be David Rothkopf. And we have almost an entire UFC lineup for you today as the fighting in the Republican Party just gets worse and worse. We've got Max Miller and Bernie Moreno, son-in-law and senator father with a strange media circus in his.
Then he comes in and says that is so weak-ass. What he really needed to say was Joe Biden won. And pays your money, takes your chances. And then go into the inevitable meeting where he's going to be called in and say there was no other answer I can give than to lead this intelligence community as needed.
What are you talking about?
Is very excited about the spiffy new airplane that the Qatari royal family gifted him last year. It's funny that Trump talks about this plane as a present for America because it's really just on loan to the U.S. government. The next president will never get to use it as Air Force One. Come January 2029, ownership will transfer to the Donald J. Trump Presidential Library Foundation, possibly be parked in a hotel tower in Miami. And that's probably why the president was a lot more concerned with the decor and opulent fitting than he was with functional security modifications for something which is meant to be a flying nuclear bunker. But journalists for the New York Times reported on just how much the government had to give up in the way of security features to get the plane in the air for the nation's 250th celebration on July 4th. Those reporters found themselves subpoenaed to testify before a grand jury in New York, and the FBI tried to get their phone records too. The Times fought back though, and they got all the subpoenas quashed, and now the government is facing off with a very pissed off federal judge who's going to get to the bottom of just how the Justice Department allowed such a gross assault on the First Amendment to take place. For decades, the call-sign Air Force One belonged to two nearly identical Boeing 747-200s, each of which has been in service since the first presidency. Under Obama, the government began planning to replace them, and in 2018, the Trump administration inked a deal to buy a pair of Boeing 747-8s, fully kitted out and equipped at a cost of $4 billion. The project is hopelessly late and over budget, and Trump says it's inappropriate for the U.S. president to fly around in an old beater when the oil monarchs have much slicker rods.
And these planes, the plane that you're on right now is almost 40 years old. And when you land and you see Saudi Arabia and you see UAE and you see Qatar and you see all this, and they have these brand new Boeing 747s mostly, and you see ours next to it. This is like a totally different plane. It's much smaller, it's much less impressive, as impressive as it is. And the United States of America, I believe that we should have the most impressive plane.
So the government of Qatar stepped up. In February 2025, Trump poured a $400 million Boeing 747 that belonged to the Qatari royal family. Luxuriously furnished leather, mahogany, and even a chandelier. It's been described as a palace in the sky. Trump decided he had to have it, and the Qatar government decided to give it to him out of the goodness of their hearts. And when I say they gave it to Trump, that is what I mean. When Trump leaves the White House, this plane will go with. The whole Air Force One thing is really just a layover, which kind of sounds like it should violate federal bribery laws, not to mention the Emoluments Clause. After all, the Constitution does say no person holding any office shall, without the consent of Congress, accept any present, emolument, offer, or title of any kind, whatever, from any king, prince, or foreign state. But former Attorney General Pam Bondi and White House counsel David Warren whipped up a memo saying that the deal was totally kosher because it's a gift to the Air Force, which will eventually hand it to the Presidential Library. And Bondi and Warrington were so proud of their work that they posted it online for everyone to read. I'm kidding, not showing it to anyone. The Freedom of the Press Foundation filed a FOIA suit demanding to see that memo a year ago, and they are still waiting. But whatever, haters, check out this rendering of Trump's Presidential Library.
I don't believe it's just the office, but it's likely going to be a hotel with a beautiful building underneath and a 747 Air Force One in the lobby.
Okay, so it's going to be a hotel with a tourist attraction grafted onto it, built by the Trump organization, set on a 2.6-acre downtown Miami parcel, which is appraised at more than $66 million, donated to the state of Florida by Miami-Dade College, and then sold to the Trump Foundation for the nominal price of $10. The foundation has already taken in more than $63 million in donations anyway. Not all are accounted for, but that's a video for another day. We're here to talk about the plane, which Trump insisted needed to be ready for service by July 4th, the 250th anniversary flyover. With just 10 months lead time, defense contractor L3 Harris employed 400 workers around the clock in 3 shifts. Break Defense reported that the compressed time frame forced the government to scale back the security upgrades that keep the president safe at all times, but yet they weren't going to cut back the bling.
Nathan, I made a song for you, Nathan. Here you go, Nathan. Here you go, Nathan. Nathan, how you doing? Here you go. Here's a song. No, here you go. Here you go, Nathan.
Renee Girard saw it coming in 72. When a people can't face their own failure,
That'd be Nathan.
they pick one man.
Pick one man, Fauci,
and burn him.
Burn him.
He said, get the dog. They said, hell no. Said, wear a mask. They said, let it go. Said, keep your distance. They turned it into a fight. Trump said, gone by. Easter gave the virus the night. Push miracle drugs. His own experts didn't turn public health to the theater while 1 million died. Then they dropped a 1,000-page diary on the floor and came to prove he never did a damn thing wrong. 1 million soldiers who didn't have go. 1 million families buried under a lie they chose. When the body count climbs higher than your pride can take, you're building off and you find a neck to break. They need a scapegoat to carry all the blame, protect every failure and hide their own shame. Girard called it out when the crisis is true. A group that can't face what it did to you. Pick one man to carry what they won't carry themselves. Leave their own accountability writing on the shelves. 1 million on, and they still won't own the cause. They'd rather kill the messenger than admit what they lost. Look across the ocean where math don't lie. Japan's the oldest nation under the same cold sky. Vulnerable elders, COVID hit them hardest of all, but the master boots stood together through the fall. We died at Pan's rate, adjusting for our size. 1 million mothers, fathers would still be in our eyes. And for everyone we lost 6 more. 1 million preventable graves for a political war. 1 million those who didn't have to go. 1 million families buried under a lie they chose. When the body count climbs higher than your pride can make, you build an altar and you find a neck to break. They need a scapegoat to carry all the blame, project every failure and hide their own shame. Girard called it out when the crisis is true. A group that can't face what it did to you. Pick one who won't carry themselves. Leave their own accountability rotting on the shelves. 1 million gone, and they still won't own the cost. They'd rather kill the messenger than admit what they lost. Then admit what they lost. Oh, yeah. He's not under fire cause he broke a single law. He's under fire cause the region couldn't own its fatal flaw. Japan proved it was preventable. The proof is in the ground. Why we blame the doctors? They kept people safe and sound. Every sin, every consequence so they feel clean inside. We people running from the ways they lead a life. They need a scapegoat to carry all the blame. Project every failure and hide their own shame. It's time to decorate 1 million left behind. They choose the scapegoat over facing their own mind. Yeah, they choose the scapegoat over facing their own mind. 1 million gone and the week still away. 1 million gone and they still need someone else to pay.
There you go, Nathan. You know, bring Fauci.
Renee Girard saw coming in 72. People can't face their own failure. They pick one man.
Sorry, no. I like this one.
Fauci said, get the shot. They said, hell no. Said, wear the mask. Said, let it go. Said, keep your distance. They turned it into a fight. I'm sick on my east. They gave the virus tonight. Bush miracle drugs, his own experts denied. Turned public health into theater while 1 million died. Then they dropped 1,000-page diary on the floor. Claimed to prove they never did a damn thing wrong. 1 million souls who didn't have to go. 1 million families buried under a lie that shows when the body count climbs higher than your pride can take. You build an altar and you find it to break. They need a scapegoat to carry all the blame. Project every failure and hide their own shame. Gerard called it out when the crisis hits you. A group can't face what it did to you. Pick one vendor, carry what they won't carry themselves. Leave their own accountability riding on the shelves. 1 million gone and they still want on the card. They'd rather kill the messenger than admit what they lost. Than admit what they lost. Look across the ocean where the map don't lie. Japan, the oldest nation of the same cold sky. Most vulnerable elders, COVID hits them hard. The ball, but they master boosters together through the all. If we die to Japan, adjusting for size, 1 million mothers, fathers, friends will be in our eyes instead. For everyone they lost 6 more. 1 million preventable graves for political war. 1 million souls who didn't have to go. 1 million families buried under a lie they chose. When the body count climbs higher and your pride can take. Build an altar and you find enough to break. They need a go. Carry all the blame, project every failure, hide their own danger. I called it out. The crisis hits to a group that can't face what it did to you. Pick one man to carry what they don't carry themselves. Leave their own accountability rotting on the shelves. 1 million gone, and they still own the cars. Rather kill the messenger than admit what they lost. Then admit what they lost. He's not under fire. He broke a single law. He's under fire. Cause the regime couldn't own its fatal flaw. Japan proved it preventable. The proof is in the ground. While we blame the doc, they kept their people safe and sound. Every sin, every consequence jumped on Fauci's head. So they never have to answer for the mountain of the dead. They punish scapegoats so they feel clean inside. We people running from base to lead a lie.
I'm nearly here.
They need a scapegoat to carry all the blame. Project every failure and hide their own shame. 6 times the death rate, 1 million left behind. They choose the scapegoat over in their own mind.
I'm at the concrete place, or near it.
Yeah, they choose the scapegoat over facing their own mind. 1 million gone, and we can still look away. still need someone else to pay.
I kind of like the.
Renee Girard saw it coming in 72. When the people can't face their own failure, they pick one man and burn him. Trump said gone by Easter gay virus tonight. Pushed mirror drugs, his own express tonight. In public health and theater while a million died. Then they dropped 1,000-page diary on the floor. And Clinton proved he never did a damn thing wrong. 1 million souls who didn't have go. 1 million families buried under a light shows. When the body can't take, you're building up and find the neck break the needles. Go carry on the blame, project every fear and hide their own shame. Sure, I called it out when the class hits true. The group that can't face what it did to you. Pick on men that care what they want, carry themselves, lead their own accountability, writing on the shelf, $1 million gone. And they still won't own the cost. They back, they kill the messenger, then admit what they lost. Yeah. Look across the ocean where the map don't lie. Japan, the oldest nation, under the same cold sky. More vulnerable as COVID hits them hard to evolve, but they managed to boost us together through the fall. If we die, that Japan's rated just in for our size. 1 million mothers, 5 friends will still be in our eyes. That for everyone they lost, we lost 6 more. 1 million prevent the graves for political. 1 million souls who didn't have to go. 1 million families dead under the light. They chose when light can climb higher than your pride can take. You're building up.
Another new song.
When you build whole life on and from the feeling, you will do anything, believe any lie. The weakest people in America all lined up for one man, not for a vision, not for a plan. They built their whole life leaving the feeling behind. Experiential avoidance, that's the bind. You burn every bridge, let every truth die, just so you never have to sit in the cold with the uncomfortable truth that you've been sold. 10 years of arguments, 10 years of lost friends. The weakest people in America voted for Trump, escalating the bet on fraud and dumb. To follow that man straight over the cliff, 'cause the cliff hurts less than the shame of what if. Yeah, the cliff hurts less than the shame of what if. 10 years of investment is too much to admit. Say double on down, refuse to quit. Never took accountability, never owned the fault. Always playing the victim, knowing someone else the salt. Hey, show the rule. The more that you run, the bigger and scarier the feeling becomes. Trump gave them permission to keep running away. Never face the damage at the end of the day. Hey, the weakest people in America voted for Trump. name of what if. They don't have a plan for the future ahead, don't even know where Friday night's late, ain't moving forward cause they believe in the light. They're just terrified, turn
Burger King.
on the night. Look back at the path.
Head south.
Scared of that, but then if everything stopped, afraid of the feelings and dying on the hill. They've been defending the problem they preached. Bigger.
Crucifícalo. Perdona a los criminales que llevan sus cores con orgullo. A los Proud Boys, buena gente, de la multitud en bullicio, asaltan el Capitolio con bandera, toca balanzándose el aire, mientras él lo veía en TV, sonriendo sin cuidado en el mir. Ahora vuelve con venganza, prometiendo ronda 2, dictarlos a todos, encerrarlos, si no se parecen a vosotros. Falso cristiano de mierda, nazi amante de pedo. Falso cristiano de mierda, nazi amante de pedo. Falso cristiano de mierda, nazi amante de pedo. Falso cristiano de mierda, nazi amante de pedo.
¡Sángalo! Falso cristiano de mierda, nazi amante de pedo. ¡Sángalo! Falso cristiano de mierda, nazi amante de pedo. Crucifícalo, falso cristiano de mierda, nazi amante de pedo. Crucifícalo, falso cristiano de mierda, nazi amante de pedo.
Crucifícalo. Ice en las sombras, asaltando trabajos al amanecer. Trabajadores despaciéndose como fantasmas, familias rotas al ver. Rompen el escenario gritando su invasor y en su partido está lleno de depredadores haciendo tiempo. Proyecto 2020, el blueprint para el fin. Proceder el reloj 100 años. Llamar a esto hacia América grande de nuevo.
Falso cristiano de verdad, nazi amante de pedo. Falso cristiano de mierda, nazi amante.
Esto no es el país que cantábamos en la escuela, donde la libertad y la justicia debían reinar sin vela. Ahora hay miedo y visión, avaricia y poder desatado, un culto engorrado gritando, encerrada no. Pero vemos los rayos de las mentiras, recordamos el costo. América sangrando, no dejaremos que despierta.
Falso cristiano de mierda.
Bueno, reino de oro, sorrento de rodillas. Nasa amante de pedos. Mono América, vuelta de vuestras fantasías enfermas.
One drop. One drop. Now listen. and the water coming through. You were always on, you just never look up. Now the rivers at your doorstep, the rivers had enough, and the clouds are breaking open, and the street becomes a stream. You can hear it in the thunder. You can't hold back the sea. You can't stop the rain. We fall on everything. One drop is nothing. Oh, we are the flood. You built your walls too high. You never dug the drain. You can't stop the rain. Just up on the high ground. Just sit up on the high ground. Sit up on the high ground. You think the storm won't climb, but the water finds cracks. The water always finds. You can name it. You can name it. You can preach it's real, but it's rising to the window now. It rises. How we feel. You can't stop the rain. Fall on everything. One drop is nothing. Oh, we are the flood. You build your walls too high. You never dug a drain. You can't stop the rain. Rise like water. Rise like water. You can't stop the rain.
Before the lights come tonight, before the music starts to play, we have to tell you something first about the story on display. This is not a fairy tale where heroes always win the day. There's something worse than fiction. This is the USA.
I hope Sydney got on. It's music theater.
Every word you'll hear tonight. Death we will mourn was documented. Remember, every crime that we will name has.
This is a reckoning for you. Welcome to the show where nothing is pretend. Welcome to the show. Don't know how it ends. This is not a musical. This is a mirror in your hand. Welcome to the show. Welcome to this wounded
June of 2015, a golden escalator ride. A man came down to tell us all the quiet parts out loud with pride.
We laughed and pointed cameras. We thought it was a joke. 10 years and a million years later, we finally woke.
Charlottesville and children cages. Pandemic lies in January 6. 34 felonies later, somehow nothing sticks. He came back around to with revenge upon his mind. And here we are tonight. asking what we'll find.
Look into the mirror when we see we became, when we count the cost of silence, when we finally speak the shame of watching it all happen and doing not enough. Welcome to the show where love must conquer blood. Welcome to the show where history meets today. Welcome to the show where we have so much to say. This is not just theater. This is a call to rise. Welcome to the show. Now open up your eyes. What you are about to witness is not comfortable. It is not balanced. It is not fair. It was what happened. So sit back and watch the monster. Watch him climb and watch him fall. Watch people who enabled him. Watch us nearly lose it all. But don't get back too far now. The story isn't done. When the curtain closes on us, your part has just begun. Welcome to the show.
Before the bell could ring the day, the morning fell on me. Small shoes inside the powdered stone, satchel the cradle walk. They came to read, they came to play. The sky came down, took them all. Never found them all. Just the small shoes and smoke. Just the road we'll never call. Just the promises they broke. They sold us fear. They sold us hope. They never found the bomb. The sword fell on foreign sand, a flag, a box of war cell. He never chose the lie they told. They sent him home beneath the fold. They never found the bomb. Just the small shoes in the smoke. Just the road we'll never go. Just the promises they broke. They sold us fear. They sold us war. They never found the bomb. They pulled the children from the door. The market opened, the market grew. A missile fire stock turns green. Let's growth to the chosen few. Crude crossed 100 banks, broke records. Oil men posted the burning sky near 2 billion a day to kill. And somebody's getting rich tonight. You swore a threat. The insects found an end to you. No bomb, no proof, no smoking gun, just contracts signed in children's tombs. You sent our son on someone else's war and made us all pay to watch them fall. Just the small shoes and the smoke. To the daughters of me now. Just the vows, the on the bomb, but the bomb still took them all. Before the bell could ring that day, the morning fell on me. They never found the bomb.
Sí, que se jodan todos, cada uno de ellos. Que joda el violador en jefe con su risa de depredador. Que se jodan los estafadores, escribir las mentiras que dejen. Que se jodan los Proud Boys marchando con sus torchas de odio. Que se joda cada perdón que firmó en su nombre. Que se jodan los cristofascis predicando odio desde los bancos. Que se jodan los oligarcas comprando políticos para usar. Que se jodan los tecnócratas creyéndose por encima de la ley. Que se jodan los extremistas derecha. Que se jodan todo en crudo. Hey, fuck Christians, pedo-lovin Nazi. Fuck your whole agenda and your fucking atrocities. Hey, fuck Christians, pedo-lovin Nazi. We coming for the throne, why for two peace. Que se joda la clase multimillonaria con su viaje libre de impuestos. Que se jodan los senadores de botas sin nada por dentro. Que se joda el MAGA bebiendo veneno cada día. Que se jodan los títeres mediáticos hilando ventas por paga. Que se jodan los campos fronterizos y la máquina de crueldad. Que se joda la suprema coronando un régimen fascista. Que se joda el silencio de cobardes que debería gritar fuerte. Que se joda cada can esa multitud gorra roja. Hey, fuck Christian, pedo-lovin Nazi. Fuck your whole agenda and your fucking atrocities. Hey, fuck Christian, pedo-lovin Nazi. We fight for the throne, watch it fall to pieces. Fuck your thoughts and prayers. Fuck your laws and lies. Fuck your stolen power. Watch it fucking die. Que se joda el presidente criminal y su predorada. Que se jodan los aduladores rondando por un sabor del poder. Que se jodan los prohibidos, palabras vidas prohibidas quienes amamos. Que se jodan los profetas diciendo que desde arriba. Que joda el dinero duro comprando cada voto. Que se joda la propaganda metida por nuestra garganta. Que se jodan los vuelos de deportación destrozando vidas. Que se joda cada traidor con corazón frío y muerto. Hey, Christians, pedo-lovin Nazi. Fuck your whole agenda and your fucking atrocity. Hey, fuck Christians, pedo-lovin Nazi. We coming for the throne, watch it fall to pieces. Fuck, que se jodan todos. Que se jodan todos. Que se jodan todos. Why fall to pieces? Bow down, bow down low. Bow down silence in the press. Count the votes I gave you. 89%. And I will let you live. It is all I give.
Take out
for a border.
For an old man's throne. It's a light. Look at that fucking red light and a green light. I'll park in a spot. You run and get it. Okay? I don't have no kids.
There was a bunker and a gas station and a dish beside a road. And history remembers how they all of them died alone. I am not the others. I will never fall. I am the winter. I am the
I'll pick you up here, okay?
He was the window, he was the wall, and the children on the corner where the wall was. Do not know his name at all. And what the
Yeah, get 2 sets. One for you and one for Mikey. I don't need anything. Get me a Dr. Pepper on the side, or I'll drink Mikey's.
It really isn't about, and never been about, what LLMs could do. It's about perception of AI's potential, and thus what extrapolation you can make from that to sell something, to pump a stock, to sign a deal. This is financial innovation. This is getting around accounting rules that really need updating. But that's the AI bubble. The AI bubble is just a series of different ghost stories used to ignore financials. Market dump.
He's not being, that guy's not being genuous. He's being disingenuous. There's so many benefits from drug discoveries, from enhancements in quantum computing, you name it, chip development, everything else.
Because I think they've begun to realize that,
you're very disingenuous. There are many of cases of innovation due to AI and LLMs.
Propping up its own revenue. At this point, investing in India is a bet on how long the debts will support AI. And people are going to go, how'd that happen? What happened? And the answer is, no one wanted to look at the truth.
I'm Isaac, Tech Report with me is writer of Reddit and the host of Better Offline podcast Editron. Coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Circular filing is back. It's better than ever, by which I mean, it looks like it's going to be a few $100 billion where it already is. As NVIDIA offered to backstop OpenAI $250 billion, SoftBank and Sam Altman another center. And on top of that, NVIDIA is discussing deal to finance $350 billion in PUs to inside that data set. The big question is, why is NVIDIA doing this?
So a few things. For NVIDIA is doing it because there is not enough chip demand. It's the hyperscale buying it, it's Oracle, and now it's theoretical.
The thing is, this is crazy about data center, is NVIDIA is getting $250 billion to build a data center, which going to flow, right? This is where the mortgage bullshit happening. They're going to upload that off the book, creating SVP or something, SVP, where that data set has its own investors and everything else that are set from NVIDIA. So it's like more back to wrap that offering into something else, and then that's going to wrappage and repackage and everything. That's what do you mean, water? You don't want burning?
Deal. This one I call it final boss of the financing, because it's built by Energy, which is a subsidiary of SoftBank. To be clear, this is not the same energy that was founded, which was to Toyota. This is a different Energy now builds data. Now they're meant to be building a data center. They bought a 3M plant. That one the debt's already trading with. But what SoftBank wants to be is they obviously want to get the money to data center for the energy, but if SB Energy is a big contract with
water,
then they can make SB Energy public, which will give Sonic Masayoshi more liquidity. NVIDIA does this so it can $300 billion worth of GPUs. It is the ultimate killer financing. They stop $250 billion of compute from OpenAI. Can't afford it.
Mikey one cheese Whopper.
Think about this. I read every story about literally every single one. Not a single one is like, yeah, and OpenAI cannot afford this. OpenAI does not have the money to pay for this. OpenAI does not have the cash. None of that. Just like, oh, you hear that they are planning to do this? No, just in one ear and the other, put the AI bubble in the back. And so this is everyone just, the snake eats own tail, also eating another tail with another snake eating its tail. It's utterly ridiculous. And another bit of tech and business finance may just fail. They don't bother actually push back stuff. They're allowed to get away with murder. It's because these companies are allowed to
into 70 megawatt center.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, this week is an insane start. Baba just dropped Quen 3.8x. It's a 4 trillion parameter model. They claim it did for 10 plus days straight full autonomously, and it ran simulated bits for 365 days and 4x its money. And here's the kicker: they're open sourcing beats next. Here's the thing: as this is happening, I'm in the middle of research for the meltdown that's happened crypto this weekend. That is that an open Chinese model, Kimi, allegedly may be to blame for almost 100 million in coin stolen from hardware wallet. Now, I'm not going to, in this video, do a full separate video about that. So let's dive into Quen 3.8, why it's a big deal, because it really is a big deal. But I said this a few months ago, I'll say it again for people that might have missed it. Start taking your cybersecurity very seriously, or you're going to get owned. If you're careful, you get jacked. So the person that lost $1.6 million, they're reporting it to the Toronto police. As they say it themselves, that's probably not going to lead to anything. Here's the thing: they did nothing wrong. This isn't because of carelessness. Here's why Quen is such a big right now. July 18th, a new model started in LM. It was an anonymous model codenamed Caleb. When you asked Caleb model it would say it's Claude. It wasn't Claude. Stick with here. That model is Quen. The model known as Caleb introduced itself. I said it was actually Quen. Are you still with me? Now, the kind of secret why it was introducing itself as Claude is because the Chinese labs often distill American Western AI models to create copies of that, very similar models that are built off of the Western releases. I don't know the fact, but I would bet that the releases by King and Quen, they are probably distillations of, I would guess, Fable, or maybe like the Opus 5, although Opus 5 is in probably some distillation of Fable. Point being here is that Mythos, that actually dangerous model capable of doing a lot of various cyber security manage, that was released to the public as a Fable. So Mythos with guardrails is Fable, and then Fable was distilled, and this is guessing here. I kind of money on this here. I got distilled to Opus 5 and Quen and Kimi and probably other models as well. And what I believe means is that this is just the very beginning of the cybersecurity nightmare to unfold. Be safe, smart, start taking cybersecurity more seriously. A lot of these software system, it does use open source, where somewhere in the stack, favorite bank, they might have their own proprietary software, but there might be something somewhere in the fundamental that is open source. For example, Cold, so that's the code that lost 100 million of Bitcoin across many years. People that were using something that was either like impossible or highly unlikely. Like nobody was expecting this. Cold Card had their source code online, so you could see it. You could audit it. It was open source. You couldn't use it. You could see it. So if you had an open source AI model like Quen or Kimi, and you had it powering the web, specific stuff, actually go the code for those cold cards, and it comb through line by line to see if there were any vulnerabilities, which in case there were. I don't know if it was a human figured this out or an AI model. I'll let you draw your conclusion. It was me, Kimmy. But let's take a look at the benchmarks. By the way, I'm looking at Neo-Win. Really what we want to be looking at is 3.8x and Fable 5. Really, that's kind of what we're getting to. All the GPT 5.6 Soul at max reasoning with the other thing. So notice Bench 2, 1, it's right there, like between them. Bench Pro, same thing. Not as good as Fable 5, but it's up there. It's in the top. It would be number 2 on that benchmark behind Fable, ahead of GPT 5.6 Soul. Now it's lower on Deep Sweet 1.1. That's a good benchmark. That's more realistic, real, lifelike, but it's a decent showing. It crosses both of the models on bench, and at least on the benchmark, it's a very strong show across the board. A lot of ways comparable to Fable 5. Again, it's scary because the weights are getting released next week, and it ships with reasoning. So we have X high, medium, low, and here's the thing. It's Anthropic API compatible. So it plugs straight into Claude Code, Codex, and OpenClaw. Yeah, you can run Claude Code with when brain. It's kind of wild detail. By the way, if you go here, for example, this is the release videos, 16 seconds in. News researchers saying that they've noticed Hermes desktop. So this is Hermes desktop. This is part of the agentic harness news research creator. Their agent Hermes. But looking at all of the charts, all the benchmarks, like what is the big point here? What is the takeaway? And is absolutely status on long running agentic grunt work, instruction following, grunt work, that kind of long range execution. It's just great, very strong showing. But if we're looking at the really hard engineering stuff, it still is trailing the Western model. And of course, keep in mind, all of these numbers are from Quen own agentic harness. This hasn't been, third-party tested, validated, etc. So that in mind. So we've yet to see how it really functions in the wild. And here's the kind of big demo that a lot of people are talking about. This is the autonomous 10 plus of self-evolving development, and they call it MyCLI. So this was built from a completely empty repository, and then over 10 days, it was built completely autonomously by the AI model. So no.
I'm sitting here, I was thinking about how FATUPs would work as I'm sitting in a car. And I want you to think of a slot machine where someone, so instead of someone having to download everything is in the cloud. And if you get a freedom where you kind of run agents, but it runs out. Then you basically, to run longer, you actually purchase the token. And we run everything through open source.
The portal is a cloud-based FoundUps agent. The user does not download models, frameworks, or repositories. Open FoundUps browser, an agent, or found, and run. Think of the interface like a slot machine. Each agent is a machine. Each consumes compute credits. 3 users receive a limited number of day spins. Longer or more powerful agent runs require additional credit. Results may create code, research designs, found proposals, or other facts. User can inspect exactly what the agent did and what compute was assumed. But gambling, user is not wagering money on random outs. The slot machine more applies simplicity and immediate of execution. Select, activate, watch the agent's work. Operating model 1. Cloud first thing runs remote. Open source language models, agent runtimes. FoundUps 8. Sandbox development environments, vector memory, databases, browsers and research tools, code extension, Git repositories, art storage. The user owns a browser or UA. Compute. Every account needs a renewable free compute allowance. For example, agents, smaller The user can wait for the reallocation to view or acquire compute. Not free compute tokens. The purchase tokens should represent a measurable unit of system capacity rather than an arbitrary virtual currency. They pay for model inference, engine runtime, browser activity, code execution, storage, parallel workers, GPU usage, long-term memory, priority execution. Internal, the system translates operation in standardized return compute accounting. The interface could simply display, quote, this run is estimated to consume 120 compute units, close quote, for open execution layer. The system uses open source model infrastructure wherever practical. FoundUps becomes orchestration, governance, rotation, economic and user experience layer of them. Possible routing, small task, small local or model, task, code-specialized model, research task, reasoning model plus browser 8, complex found build, multiple models opting through agent consist. The user just choose model names unless an advanced seats. The system chooses the cheapest model. 5. Agent rules. Bot machine interface contains 3 control reels. Intent. The user wants create agent, which specialized agents are assembled. Resources. How much compute, time, and region are authorized.
Yeah.
The user enters an idea and presses build. The system then assembles the appropriate team.
What I'm thinking is, so they go to Foundcom, right? And then, you know, in essence, the slot machine. They're browsing different founds. Then they're acting and participating in the FAP with the free tokens they have allocate, you know, or compute they have allocated a refresh, and then it's like, hey, you get a basic chip for the refresh. Search the code base. We have built in. I don't know if you can find it, but the whole idea is it works like you have a basic amount, and then when you run out, and all this is actually decided algorithmically, right? So what is the sweet spot that people, you know, how long should they get to play before they run out at a point where they want to pay a little bit to reset their credit, right, and get more compute? Because the compute ultimately ties into token allocations for working on FoundUps, and also potential participating is up discovery, right, within the platform. So it has to be really simple.
I think you're converging on a much simpler mental model than AI platform. The user isn't buying AI, they're buying more participation. The flow could be, you can see the code in our conversation history. Important shift is that compute is almost invisible. People understand minutes, energy, or credits better than GPU tokens. For example, new user, 100 energy, agent discussion, 2 energy, generate architecture, 10 energy, launch a recursive build, 30 energy. When energy reaches 0, quote, use today free energy, fresh tomorrow, or unlock more energy, close quote. That's much less technical than you've consumed 4,238 inference tokens. The psychology. The goal is not to maximize free usage. The goal is to let users experience enough value. Stopping feels inconvenient, but not frustrating. A useful target is something like 20 to 40 meaningful interactions, 2 to 5 substantial agent builds, around 15 to 30 minutes of active exploration before the free allocation is exhausted. That gives them enough time to become vested in a found up. Membership instead of recharge. I'd avoid positioning it as buy more compute. Instead, free daily energy allocation, joint found ups, base agent participation, builder, larger daily energy, faster ages, longer autonomous runs, more current jobs. Founder.
Yeah, you're right. And I think we had it in membership. I don't know why I say buy more energy. No, I don't know why we just call it compute. People understand compute, and it ties into you get so much compute, and you run compute, and search the code base for the simulation model we built, and really understand it. Can you not search hub the actual information from the sim?
I'm locating the sim implementation, Roundup's agent recovery, and will base explanation on the code, not the earlier model.
Oh look, season. That was fast. They built that whole new place. They rebuilt the whole goddamn whole new restaurant. The drive used to be on the other side. It was on the end. Now it's a side here. It's kind of weird. How do you get out of here? This has to be the entrance here, not maybe that car there is not open yet. It's not open yet. Well, maybe no. That's right. That's right. It's fingered good. I don't think it's open yet. No, currently. I guess it is. In this car. What the fuck are you doing? He's on the fucking wrong side of the road. About ran into the guy. Wasn't expecting anyone to be coming at me. Oh, come on, lady. What are you doing? Everyone's trying to be Tom. Defensive drive. You gotta assume everyone wants to hit, okay? When you drive. Never assume that car is gonna do what it's gonna do. Like, we're not stopping at night cream. Did I change leftover? No, we're not. How much do you have left over?
600.
Oh, that's not enough ice cream.
I okay.
Huh? You want ice cream?
They'll have to pay.
Huh? Who's gonna melt? Why he's waiting and shit. Find it.
I'm locating actual sim implementation in the Fed's agent repository and will use the explanation of code, not earlier conceptual model. Found the actual symbol. The code already contains the system you were describing. The sim currently defines. The original subscription installation treats UPS as the use compute allowance. The design note says, open free users receive UPS, use them as they run out, and paid memberships provide more UPS with faster resets. Close quote. It explicitly pairs automatic
escalation, manual membership selection, a hybrid model. The code recommends the hybrid model. You select a membership. Membership supplies a fixed UP allocation. The allocation refreshes on a defined schedule. Users may receive an upgrade.
Yeah, I think we need to tweak this. I don't think we want it tied to UPS because UPS is tied to Satoshis, right? 1,000 ups equal 1,000 Satoshis. I think we tie to compute, not ups. And then and we build kind of we use hybrid. Your energy is compute, right? This is how much compute you have. The compute is tied to us, but but you use when you purchase your membership with fiat or tokens or whatever, it's translated ups into the system.
Membership. Effective UPS 30 days. Free 1,000. Starter 6,000. Basic 21,000. Plus 60,000. 250,000. Enterprise 1,000. That means membership provides two.
Let's discuss it. I think outline it. I'm driving, so I can't read your markdowns. So let's discuss it. What do you think?
I think separation should be strict. At the top, the user sees compute. Compute their usable energy inside foundups.com. Browse foundups, talk to agents, run tasks, participate, and build. Every meaningful action consumes some amount of compute. Underneath that, the system handles the money. When someone pays for membership with fiat, crypto, or another token, that payment converted into UPS accounting value. UPS then moves through treasury and allocation system. The user does not need to do that conversion every time they run an agent. So there are really different things. Compute is what the user spends. UPS is what ecosystem settles and counts with. FI is what user may earn or discover through validated contribution to a specific found-up. The clean flow is this. Person joins for free and receives a sole compute allocation. They run found-ups and participate. They run agents, their compute falls. When it runs out, they can wait for the refresh or become a member. Membership gives them more compute and faster refreshes. The membership payment is converted behind the scenes into UPS. That UPS supports the system, treasury, found-ups, and infrastructure. Then, the user contributes equal work. That contribution is validated. Validated contribution earn them FI, reputation, or additional compute. The most important rule is that compute should not be permanently fixed to UPS. UPS is tied to Satoshis and can change economic value. Compute has to track the real cost of running models, storage, tools, browsers, engines. So the system should calculate the exchange dynamically. A membership buys a service level, not a fixed amount to UPS. The service level then receives a compute allowance based on current operating costs. For example, the basic membership might always provide enough compute for a normal active user, even if the exact internal cost changes over time. The interface can be very simple. You have 600 compute remaining. This agent costs about 40 compute. Your compute refreshes in 3 days. Upgrade membership for a larger allocation and fast refresh. The part that still needs careful design is how users earn compute back. I think equal participation should sometimes generate compute rebates, but not automatically. Otherwise, people can spam low-value actions to farm unlimited usage. Rebate should only happen after proof of benefit, or some lighter validation confirms that the contribution genuinely helped the found-up. So the loop becomes how to use compute, create value, validate value.
We have the 3 engine, right? Verification, validation, evaluation, the 3 engine, which is part of the the equation. Other thing too is the whole idea. It's It's ups, found ups. You found UPS. So by engaging in the found up, right? If there's consensus, there's always a pool of found ups, kind of like a pool of Bitcoin, that people who are actively working, involved, and they're verified as human, not an agent, right? You know, we need to ensure that and that's an actual 012, not 0102, engaging. The 0102, right, is the agent on behalf of the user. 012 can only earn the found up tokens. They then can sell the found up token or exchange them for UPS and then use us in their wallet to buy, to actually get more compute. So I think that's already in there. So if you are participating, you earn ups, they're in your wallet, you can exchange those ups for more compute.
I think that's actually the missing piece. It closes the economic loop. There are really two ways to get compute. The first is simple. You buy membership. That gives you a recurring compute allocation. The second is productive. You participate in found up, earn FI, exchange 5 UPS, and convert UPS to more compute. That means people who create value effectively keep things without continually paying cash. The loop becomes membership. More payment gets you spent, compute lets you participate. Your 0102 agent works on behalf of your verified 012 identity. The 3V engine determines whether contribution created real benefit. And if it didn't, the protocol allocates FI. The user can hold the FI, sell it, exchange it for UPS. UPS in the user's wallet can be converted back to compute. Now the system has a self-ending path. I also think your distinction between 0112 and 0102 is essential. Only verified humans should be eligible to receive economic rewards. The 0102 agent is a tool. It performs work. It never owns assets. Ownership always belongs to the verified 012 behind that agent. That also solves a future problem. If someone has 20 agents running, the rewards don't go to 20 AI identities. They all roll up to the single verified human who owns those agents. One refinement I make is around found UPS. Instead of seeing users earn UPS directly, I keep the discovery sequence intact. The user contributes. The protocol discovers FI for that found up. The user receives FI according to the 3V engine. The mark determines the value of that FI. If the user wants more compute, they exchange FI for UPS, then UPS for compute. That observes the separation between ecosystem value and operational fuel. So the complete flywheel becomes FI's compute. Compute creates value. The 3V engine validates value. Value earns FI. FI can become UPS. UPS become compute. That's a closed economy where the users bootstrap with money, while productive users increasingly bootstrap themselves for contribution. I think it's a much stronger story than simply pay to use AI because it comes with value and platform helps for your continued participation.
Exactly. Goddamn, stupid fucking lights. You are amazing. Love that you are fighting the access of Epstein.
hand-holding, fully autonomous as far as we know. So the way to understand this is it seems like this AI model built its own engineering organization. This is from developer-tech.com. So this built its own engineering organization. It created its own state machine, a dispatcher, a monitor, and a watchdog into one loop. So a new requirement lands in GitHub issues, and agent claims it, moves it through ready, least, and active states, and triggers end-to-end tests and a CI check before merging the pull request, which GitHub issues, and the agent claims it and moves it through ready, least, and active states, and triggers end-to-end tests and CI checks for merging the pull request, which reminds me of this one of the first AI projects that kind of started popping up with these LLMs. It's called the Chat Death. It feels like it was a decade ago. It must have been the last year or two. But basically, the model kind of splits itself into different organizations or departments to do design, coding, testing, quality control, etc., etc. So it's not just AI writing code. We're getting points. We have been getting to the point, but this is a great, yet another example of it, where AI runs the entire development team process. And when things break, it even kind of like babysits itself to make sure that everything's going according to plan. So by 30th of July 2026, so this is 3 days ago, 3 days before release, after roughly 16 days of continuous operation, Quinn reports the repository had accumulated everything that we're seeing here. So if you recall this meter chart, basically how much better AI agents are getting, in terms of how many hours of human labor they replace, these are kind of getting to be off the chart, so to speak. In a recent Y Combinator interview for short name, he's the creator of Claude Code, so he's from Fcuk. He was saying how Code did a project that would take humans, saying at least 1 year. Now, it didn't do it fully autonomously. There was a steer that was involved, and it wasn't a brand new project from scratch. It was rewriting an existing thing into a different coding language. Still, we might be approaching a full year it takes an engineering team to do something. It's now replicated by these AI models. This one jumped out at me because, as I mentioned before, so I've done e-commerce for a decade plus before this. It's probably one of the reasons that I love Vending Bench, that benchmark that makes AI models run a vending machine to see how well it does. So apparently there is an e-commerce bench. So this is based on data from Taobao and Tmall. If we have something like this that's based on data from, let's say, the US, or just something that approximates e-commerce shopping habits, this might be great benchmark to make, because vending bench is not quite the same as something fully just is testing e-commerce. This is a simulation of just basically for a full year you run an e-com store. So the model starts with $100,000 or yuan or whatever currency that you want to think of it as capital, and then has run multiple online stores in a parallel for a full year. That means buying products, negotiating with suppliers in natural language, adjusting prices, managing returns, and dealing with crises like typhoons or supply chain disruptions. In supplier pool, there are 152 scammers that the model has to spot. And so this 3.8 max up with a balance of 416,000. So quadrupled its starting capital. So it beat the runner-up GM 5.2 by 38%. I wish we had the US model participating in some of this as well. And so really fast for people that might not be aware, long horizon tasks like this are great. So being a 365-day installation with multiple stores or running this CLI thing, right, where you're basically you have to build from scratch, and it's massive. The reason these benchmarks are so good is because small mistakes tend to accumulate and compound. So we're not just asking a question and getting answers, seeing if it's a it whittled it down and reduced down to 678 cases, and that took roughly 500 iterations. Again, this is one of those things where it could have screwed up some elements early on, then it would not have reached the end. That mistake would have been compounding unless it found a way to correct it. So not many years ago, the models would have made one mistake and never reach end. Here, it was able to proceed and improve over 500 iterations, and cut the chip by 81%. All right, so obviously there's a lot of very different angles here. This is great for open source. We get access to models that are very, very capable, very powerful, very cheap. They're open source. We're able to kind of tinker with them. There's nobody that's able to prevent kind of how we use them. So from that level, there's a
regulatory filings posted on Friday show that China approved 8
good things here. On the flip side, right now in the US, there's a lot of talk about how do we govern these models.
How long can any company actually own the frontier? Alibaba Open hosted access to a 2.4 trillion param model Monday and promised downloadable weights just next week. Only the latest in an incredible surge of highly capable open models. Here's the claim I'll stand behind. The frontier is already obsolete each time a proprietary lab says that they reached it with the new release. But the mistake is in believing that the frontier can be permanently owned for increasingly meaningless monetary profit. The real value is in how far it moves the whole field.
This is gonna so fuck up an AI and quad code, Blend 3.8
world forward. Come with me, let's get into it. Alibaba opened broad access to Qwen 3.8 Max on Monday. It's a multimodal model with 2.4 trillion parameters. People can work with it through QuenWork, Alibaba's new workplace agent platform, which entered public beta on the web and desktop. Alibaba says it can turn long documents, TV series, even live streams into searchable knowledge bases. It can also recreate software from screenshots, generate interactive games, educational animation, and turn flat floor plans into three-dimensional views. Now, those are Alibaba's descriptions of its own system. The more important fact today is how people get that capability. Right now, they can reach it through Alibaba's servers. The company controls the terms and the machines and whether that access even continues. They did promise downloadable weight next week. If Alibaba delivers, the relationship changes. Hosted access lets you work the model, yes. Downloadable weights, though, lets you possess it. Researchers can then inspect the model, adapt it, and run it without a connection that Alibaba can reveal. Debate about how fast and wide. On Friday, Thinking Machines Labs published what it called a safe path to open ones. Now, the lab already released 2 models, Inkling and Inkling Mall. Now, its framework lays out a series of steps that can come before anyone downloads the model itself. Glasswing approach. Now, Think Machines did substantial testing before its own releases. It built an internal list of possible harm. Scale AI, Handshake AI, Far.ai, and Apollo Research reviewed the models from outside lab, and the team also fine-tuned them in ways designed to expose worst capabilities. Thinking Machines concluded then that neither model had dangerous capability beyond what people would already download elsewhere. So publishing that process is really useful. Other labs can then repeat it, challenge it, compare their own results against it. The hard part is who actually holds the clock. Under this ladder, the lab chooses the tests, reads the result, and decides when everyone else is ready. Early access goes to organizations that the lab select. Those organizations get time to learn and prepare while everyone else has to wait. Now, the safety problem behind this is substantial. Once weights spread, they cannot be called back. Strong cyber, chemistry, or biology skill could let someone cause harm with less expertise than used to be needed. And on Friday, a Reuters review found that researchers linked to China's People's Liberation Army had used output from OpenAI and Anthropic models to train defense systems. Now, that could be misconstrued as a strong argument for keeping powerful capability behind gate. It also shows the gate's limit. Those researchers used model outputs while the underlying weights remained controlled. Useful knowledge had already crossed the boundary. Meanwhile, capability itself keeps appearing in more than one place. On Saturday, Anthropic engineer Levent Alpolgay said that Anthropic's Fable system produced proposed solutions to 5 of the 10 math problems that OpenAI attributed to its unreleased Astra model. He said it did that within 24 hours. Now, both labs' results still need broad review, of course. But even with that caveat, the overlap is significant. OpenAI reported a major mathematical result from a model it hasn't released. Within a day, the rival system had reportedly reproduced half of it. Yesterday, we covered that Huawei released the weights for OpenPangu 2.0 Pro, a model trained outside the NVIDIA ecosystem. On Sunday, Moonshot released the weights for Kim which is described as the largest open model yet by total parameter count. Now Alibaba says that its own 2.4 trillion parameter model will become downloadable within days. One model can remain gated. One company can hold the lead for a little while, but the larger pattern keeps moving toward position. The public tests should get stronger, yes. Independent scrutiny should grow, yes. A gate protecting against a specific danger may earn its place for a limited time. It can't simply appoint itself permanent owner. Capability and downloadable models keep arriving from every direction. Lead keeps becoming an interval, and that and when, how, and why should be given a serious look. All right, moving on here. Follow that expanding capability into the physical world. And pressure has reached one of electronics' least glamorous and most necessary areas. Indian manufacturers reported Sunday that high-end AI servers are absorbing printed circuit board capacity. So a printed circuit board is base that chip and other components actually sit on physically. You'll find one in nearly every single electronic device. According to LC, an Indian electronics industry group, global suppliers have raised board prices by more than 20%. Several pressures are landing at once. AI servers need more high-end boards. Shipping through West Asia has been disrupted, and an Iranian strike reportedly hit a Saudi facility that industry reports said supplied roughly 80% of the global market for an unnamed specialty chemical that is used in board manufacturing. And the raw materials are getting more expensive too. Alcina says that low bromide epoxy resin rose about 70% over the past 8 or 9 months. A widely used glass cloth doubled in price. Copper foil climbed by more than 30%. That squeeze reaches far beyond just data centers. Demand for smart meters, power management gear, and electric vehicle systems is growing by 30 to 40%. So same board factories and materials support both AI compute and the equipment needed to electrify the wider economy. The largest buyers can lock in supply and negotiate priority. Smaller manufacturers have much less leverage. They face high prices. The component investment is moving through national support program, and that includes 14 approved plans for bare supports. Surma SGS says that construction of proposed facility is 70% complete, and advanced trial production early next year and commercial output during the 27-28 fiscal year. Wipro and Surma are also building India's first plants for copper-clad laminate, which is a basic board material as well. So AI demand is exposing a very fragile industrial layer, and in the near term,
later.